there.
Any lower, it might be too far away.
Okay.
No, Brill will interrupt the podcast.
Listen, I am rattled.
You should be. Is it ideally?
I almost touched it again. I was like, let me relax.
Let's relax. Ideally for me not to get up out of my chair and have aggression towards you. This is what I'd like.
Am I good? Am I good?
Mm-hmm.
Am I
It was
good?
great. It was great. Let me see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Enough headroom there. Yeah, I love
Yeah,
it.
you know, because I am 6 foot.
You are 6 foot.
We don't want the viewers to be confused.
Never. Is that pillow comfortable for you?
Yeah, it's actually good.
A little
I feel like
offset.
I feel like my skin pops against it.
It does.
Yeah.
If you comfy, then that's great.
Yeah, I'm good.
You know, how are you doing today?
I'm good, bro. I'm
Yeah.
good. I'm in a good mood.
I love it. I can feel it.
Yeah.
How are you doing this season?
Tired, but optimistic. So I'm both.
Yeah.
I'm both.
I'm
Tired.
really excited about this, by the way.
Me too, bro. Because we have so many of these offline,
Yeah.
like where people don't really even know. They have no clue.
They have no clue.
Yeah.
I mean, one of my greatest and most powerful friendships I have.
Oh wow.
And we absolutely. And
Man.
we lived half a block away from each other and we didn't know it. And then that just made it even easier.
Right. Oh, and Panorama.
Yep.
Yeah. Down the street.
Literally.
Yeah,
Man,
that was
that's
dope.
I was invested in you because we started hanging out and it was just dope. Just genuine chemistry coming over to film at Cornell's house. And we started hanging out aside from Cornell.
Right.
And then I just looked at you one day and I just felt like God was just like, he's an actor.
I I remember that conversation too.
Yeah.
I think you pulled up on me. I needed help. I was trying to get my my writing and directing out, and you pulled up. You shot for me. It was late. It was like 12. He was like, "Look, man, you're not gonna believe me when I say this, but you're destined for this." I said, "Wow." I said, "Okay."
This isn't a hobby. This is a destiny.
This is your destiny. You're right where you need to be. So
Yeah.
don't feel bad about it. You just really you poured into me that night, bro. And I'll always remember that conversation. I was blown away by that, bro. Cause I was so nervous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you helped me out a lot. And from then on, it's just been we both been pouring into each other's cups since then.
Absolutely.
So it's a dope friendship. I'm lucky to have a friend like you, for real.
I really appreciate that. Yeah, it's been a lot of good creation. Yeah. We had the 3-headed monster.
Right.
You know, with you, me, and West.
Yeah, man.
It's like, you know, when we come together, you bring this creativity together, like you can't mess with it.
Yeah, it's an undeniable force, man.
We did Try Love.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
worked with, and it's crazy. I ended up working with somebody that I was looked up to,
Yeah.
and that's like the third artist that I worked with. Where I'm just like, man, maybe Jalen's right. Maybe I am. Maybe I am destined for this.
Yeah, there's something to this.
There's something to what Jalen be talking about, man.
That's
But,
hilarious.
yeah, I was so happy you guys brought me on that. Where I
Yeah.
got to show you guys everything I've been learning on these other sets, and I got to bring it back to the original squad.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the headset, the belt of tools, this goes here, this goes there. Where does it go right there? Oh, we're going to establish a rig right here and hang it from here and then bounce it off of this thing right here. It's like, whatever.
Yeah, man.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, I mean, you do all kinds of things, but let's just, actually, I'll let you tell it.
Okay.
What are some of the things you're doing right now?
Right now, a lot of the work I do now is either DPing or gaffing.
Mm-hmm.
A lot more gaffing, because that's what pays the bills.
Yeah.
But
And that was code language to everybody who's not in film. DP and gaff.
so DP is cinematography. I hold the camera, and gaffing I do the lighting on set. So I'm either doing one or the other, depending on the client
Yeah.
or whatever. But yeah, that's what's paying the bills right now. But the goal is to direct and write my own feature films.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
And you're doing it. Yeah. It's you. Whenever I look at you, I've always seen like no matter the situation you're in, you always have a way of just like resilience and like you just keep going. And I know that's not always easy.
Right.
And also you've never given up on yourself or your dream as long as I've been around, no matter the time you've been through also. What does that look like for you to trust the process?
Man, that's a loaded question. But it's a lot of self talking, a
Mm,
lot of faith in God.
yeah.
Um, like I don't question anything. I think one of the best things that I learned in this whole process is finding the right things to say to myself,
Mm,
to say to people around me. Like I don't say no or how am I gonna do it. I say, okay, what can I do to make this happen,
mm,
or what has to change for me to get over this hurdle. So it's all progressive questioning. It's never doubt. So it's hard, but it's a practice that I use. I don't care what I'm going through. I just don't think it's gonna stay like that forever. So I don't even worry about the fact that it's not working right now. I'm
mm-hmm.
like, okay, what can I do to make it work tomorrow? Today
Yeah.
wasn't the day.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So I'm okay with the not yet. But what can I do for the all right soon when it changes? What can I do to get to that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm just constantly asking myself the right questions and pushing.
Mm,
I'm really, really pushing. We have a mutual friend in Lante
yes.
who has one of the best acronyms ever. Pray until something happens,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So that's on my bathroom mirror.
Mm,
And it's literally I'm brushing my teeth every morning and I'm praying.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I talk to God throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not really even on some like asking for anything. It's really like conversations. You know what I mean? Like, okay, now I get it. You know when you're going through your day and you're like, you remember something, and you're like, oh, duh. That's me all day long.
Mm,
Well, I'm just constantly just trying to figure out, okay, what can I do to get to the next step? So
yeah.
it's a never ending thought process for me.
I love that, like the pray until something happens. I know when Lante shared that brand, it's like that is it.
Yeah, man.
Trusting the process, praying until something happens. Like, and just from what you just said, it doesn't sound like it's ever just a shut door and that's it.
Right. Because I mean, at the end of the day, things are gonna happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not you're gonna have a plan, right? And then God is gonna be like, okay, yeah, right. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's one of those things where like my faith is a lot of my friends I say I know I have this crazy amount of faith. I always explain it to them like that because I really do believe like things are going to get better.
Mm-hmm.
Like I thoroughly believe that. Like
Yeah.
I don't just casually say, oh, no, everything's gonna be all right. Like I really believe it.
Mm-hmm.
So in every day that I wake up, I just make sure I keep going just as hard. Cause I'm always prepared for when it isn't as hard as it is right now for the next level.
Yeah.
So I'm always working like it's good. We good. I don't let things hold me down for too long emotionally. I try to fight. I just fight. That's what it looks like.
That's what it
It's
looks
a
like.
never-ending fight.
Yeah.
And I'm always winning it.
Yeah.
Even when it looks like I'm losing.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But it's just never really willing to stop or give up. Like I just don't know what that looks like,
I love it.
no matter what I'm going through.
Yeah, and I love that. And it's so true because, like I said, I see that in your life, and I think I touch on it because, like, some people would be like, "Well, yeah, duh, like you don't give up, like you're not supposed to give up, like we know that." But like then most people do though, or most people get discouraged, especially when you're chasing a dream or something you can't see, where you have to have faith, and you like sight doesn't work. Like a lot of people would give up because it doesn't make sense.
Right.
Go after this thing. You can't see it. You're blind. Who knows if it will happen? It might happen. It might not.
Right.
So you have to have this like a little bit of a level of crazy and disconnect from everything else naturally that everybody's doing to be like, that thing could happen. It might happen. It's going to happen, to like change your mind and then go after it.
Yep.
And it doesn't mean it's not discouraging. It doesn't mean it's not hard. Like it gets really real for all of us out here. And that's why I feel like we're so close too, is because we're all in that same type of industry. We don't have like full-time jobs anywhere. We are working
Right.
where work comes. And we're out here freelancing, and sometimes looks really good. And then sometimes like, what's going to happen next week?
Right.
Because I have no clue.
Yeah, man.
And then how do you keep talking yourself up in those times to keep going? Because like, all right, we've been in this time so many times that it's like, I'm a little done just like having this crazy level of I'm about to jump off the cliff or be pushed off the cliff,
Right.
but then it's fine. And so that gets tiring, that wears on people. And I don't think people even step into those realms sometimes. So I'm just, I'm encouraged by the faith and resilience and drive that I see in the friends around me and that I see in you
Same.
because it's tough.
Yeah, it is. It's tough. That's the tiring part. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like when you're working out. You know what I mean? And you have a goal. You're like, you know, I want to lose 10, 20 pounds, whatever it is. You're gonna be tired through that process.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have those moments of weakness where a cheat meal or you didn't go to the gym today and then you gained 3 pounds and now it's like, oh, what am I doing? If you give up, you'll never lose that 20.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you just have to keep fighting, and through that process, you gain the discipline.
Yeah.
You gain the resiliency to just really stop quitting less. You know what I mean? Like, so it's tiring, but it's all worth it. I believe it. In the
That's
end, it's
good.
all worth it.
Something comes to me about that is there's levels to the fight.
Yeah.
Because I haven't experienced certain levels of health and fitness because I had to fight for it, but it wasn't enough fight for where I was trying to go to.
Right.
And in order to have a body transformation or to lose 10 or 20, I need to increase my methods for it.
Yeah.
So like what I would be doing is I would start working out, and I could even get consistent with my working out, but not my eating. But the eating has to conform and change over too.
Right.
And then the workout, you might have to work out more than you're used to doing it. So until you increase those things and have more fight, you're not going to get to the next level.
Right.
You just won't.
You know, another thing I used to say is, do I really understand what I'm going after? Like people, like they chase these things, like acting, rapping, whatever the art is. You know what I mean? But do you understand what it takes to get to that level? And I don't think a lot of people take the time to really sit back and understand what they're going after. So then the work becomes so much that they do quit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But once you fully understand where you're trying to go, it's like, all right, yeah, I can't quit. That's why I'm an interview junkie. I love watching interviews where people talk about their stories, their struggles, because all of us have been through this. All of the people we see on the big screens, they've been through exactly what we've been through.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's like, oh, I'm not the first one going through this, and I'm not going to be the last. But somebody that was going through what I was going through literally said, I'm not stopping.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I'm
So-
not stopping.
There's evidence that it actually works. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yeah.
It's, even if it was just one. Because at first, I'm not going to lie, I was discouraged because it's not that many black directors in Hollywood. You know what I mean? We get put into a box and pushed off to the side, and we have a certain type of movie that we do.
Right.
So I was just like, dang, that's just not my story. You know what I mean? Like, do I fit? You know what I mean? So those questions came in, and I immediately snapped out of it. It's like, no. At least they made it. That was what they wanted to talk about. That doesn't mean that's what you got to talk about. So stop that. They made it. Now it's your turn.
Yeah.
And then it's not going to be 1 year, 2 year, 5 year. Just know when it's your turn, go crazy.
Yeah.
Be okay with the not yets. It's just not yet.
Yeah. Doesn't mean it's not.
Exactly.
It's just not yet.
Exactly.
And then what does it look like to be the first in certain things too? It
Right.
does look tough because there's even less reality of it happening, or there's even less assurance of it happening. Because you definitely haven't seen an example of it yet. Or if you have, let's say, like you talk about black directors, if you have seen examples of it and it doesn't look exactly like how you would do it or what you might feel like you have to offer, it can also be tough too because you don't know if it works yet.
Right.
And so you just have to trust what you're doing and keep pushing anyways.
And fully understand what I'm going after. Spike, he didn't have that many people to look up to say, oh, this has been done. So imagine what his race looked like for him to keep fighting and keep doing it. Tyler Perry, imagine what his race was like. So it's like when you fully understand what people before you have gone through and what you really want and how bold it is, you know the work that you have to put in. There's no excuses. There's no time to make the excuses because you know what you're chasing. You fully understand the work that goes into it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's this life we live is, we just gotta love the journey so much more than the result of it. And once you fully enjoy that part, it's like you're so present. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like you wake up and you just happy to be on set.
Exactly.
You're not walking on set like, man, bro, I don't even want to be a gaffer.
Uh-huh.
I'm walking on set like, yes, sir.
Uh-huh.
Let's
I'm on
go.
set.
I'm on set.
Yes.
I get to learn something. Every chance I get, I walk behind the director and I just be like, okay, I see what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's nice. That's interesting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The
That's your
choices.
door. That's your door from
Yeah,
God. Is I'm gonna open the door so you
my
can see.
school. That's my
Yeah.
NYU. That's my LA School of Directors, whatever. You know what I mean? That's my way. You know, I'm self-taught. So any way I could be on set, I'm like, okay, I'm just getting closer and closer.
Yes.
So I'm just enjoying the journey. And I understand what I have to do.
Yes.
So that makes it really hard to quit. Because you can't
Absolutely.
know better and not want to do better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. All of what you said is so good. You have to love the journey. And then you were talking about when you don't, the people who don't know what they're going after. So that's tough too, because then you could rely on what other people say is good.
Right.
So you're going after something, people are validating this, like that's good, or they're not. And you are completely swayed by what they say is good or bad.
Exactly.
So you don't really know yourself or what you want to do.
And then you're not putting in the work you need to do to get better at what you do.
Because what is better to you? You don't even know.
You don't even know.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what it actually takes. You don't have a full understanding of what it takes to be whatever it is you want to be.
Yeah.
A better version of you. Do you know what that, just in those simple terms, do you know what it takes to be a better version of you?
You don't even know you.
Exactly.
So how
you
you
know
know
what I'm
a better
saying?
version?
So it's one of those things where, you know, finding your passion, because when I first came to LA, I was heavily into fashion. You know, fashion films that was my thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, I found out quickly that it wasn't enough. You know what I mean? It wasn't fulfilling. It wasn't what I was passionate about. So when I found what I was passionate about was actually writing and directing, I was like, oh, let's go. And then
Yeah.
I just went crazy and studying and like every day. I watch a movie every day.
That's good.
I'm not sugarcoating it. I watch a movie every day. And I watch some movies, I watch them over and over and over. But each time I watch it completely different. Because I'm looking for certain things, and it's just that's the work it takes to get to somewhere where no one in my family has done what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
So I have no example
Exactly.
growing up. You know what I mean? I'm Haitian American. You know what I mean? My entire family is either in Canada or in Haiti or in New York growing up. So I have no examples of one of my Haitian uncles being an actor or
A Hollywood
musician,
director.
a Hollywood director. You know what I mean? So this is just something so bold that I'm just like, all right, let's go. You know what I mean? But I'm finding out every single day, if you keep putting in the work, you're getting better.
Yeah.
And you're learning. So eventually, those not yets are going to turn to, all right, when are you available?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So
I think it's so cool too how God kind of keeps us in the space of where the purpose that He has for us. Like even if we don't realize it, you know, like I think that like He'll draw us to certain things that like pique our interest and like sparks our mind. Like, oh, okay, like I could see me doing this, and then He'll draw you to something else and draw you to something else, and it's like that's because I want you to be a director. Like this is the lane. But if He would have just been like, watch this thing about directors, you might not immediately be interested or something. But like for me, like if He was just like, you know, directing film is a purpose of yours, I wouldn't have ever seen that. I had to kind of be led to different situations that made me interested. And like you said, watching a movie a day, maybe that comes now from intentionality because you know where you're going.
Yeah.
Or maybe like for some people, they might just really love movies and love the way things happen, so they're naturally drawn to it.
Right.
Like for me, I always naturally loved and understood camera movement and framing.
Right.
I loved movies. I thought they were cool, and I would like those things that I would see, I just loved. And my whole style is like mainly handheld, which is why my back has gotten to the state it has gotten to.
What do I call you? A human steady.
A human steady.
Yeah, like you're.
That's a great nickname in the film industry if you get called a human steady.
No, for real, bro. Because when I first met you on set, it was like I got the shaky hand. Like I honestly can't handheld unless it's called for that. You know what I mean? Like, but I got the shaky hand, and I'm seeing you like super smooth. I'm like, this dude's 6'2", just smooth, getting low, like changing levels. I'm like, this dude is moving like a steady op. Like that's
hilarious.
crazy. But
Yeah.
nah,
And that
man.
thing that was literally no like actual film school or learning with that. It was
Right.
just like, this is how it's supposed to be shot. Like that's just the only thing that clicked in my mind. Like framing was just something that just felt natural.
Yeah.
And then that led to photography and different stuff too. And then like being a director. But when I moved out here, I was not good at filming. It was
Right.
everybody just needed something filmed. And I was
Right.
like, this is probably how you do it. This is a better shot. And it was a natural touch on it. But for me, so I guess I was drawn through like music and dance and different things, and that led me to teaching dance and other lanes. I think I'm trying to think what else like might have led me to it. But do you remember a time that kind of led you to acting, producing, directing, writing, like, or did you just kind of immediately have an interest in that?
I don't know when, but I could tell you when I watched Gladiator, that was like, wait. I think
Hold on.
I think I want to do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then right after that, I started writing like little short stories. I had the BlackBerry, and I would write like short stories, and it would be loosely based on what I went through. Like,
See, not to cut you off, but see, that's what's powerful about it to me is people watched Gladiator and said that was a great movie and kept going on with their lives. You watched Gladiator and said, "Hold on, I want to do this." So that just shows me you have a call to purpose to it.
right, appreciate
That your
that,
mind
bro.
even like worked that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's dope.
It was it was so good of a story. I was just like, man, I feel like I got, because we all have imaginations growing up. You know what I mean? So it's like I just said, all right, let me start getting these thoughts out. So it started with like stories that I would just throughout my days just be going crazy.
Yeah.
And then I was in a relationship and it turned into poems. So they were like stories, but then poems.
Dope.
And then they just grew into scripts.
Wow.
And you know what I mean? So it started with watching Gladiator. Definitely there. And then stories, poems, then scripts, and then I learned exactly how to write scripts.
Yeah.
Because what I was doing, it was like I saw something online and I was like, oh, okay, I could do that. And then I was going in manually. I didn't even know what program. So I was going in and typing in the person's name. Like, it was just bad. It was bad. But by the time I got here, I figured out exactly, okay, let me do what I've been doing my whole life.
Yeah.
I didn't notice I was doing it this whole time. You know
Exactly.
What I mean?
Yeah.
So when I that's why I said understanding and then passion, like you just have to find those things, man. But that's when I started getting intentional about, all right, let me study scripts and study how to write them, structure, all that good stuff.
Well, then that's the groundwork. So yeah, you have understanding of what you want to do, where you're going. You got the passion to give you the fuel to get there.
Yep.
But then you got to do a lot of groundwork to also build you to those places.
Yeah.
Just like if I said I want to look better and my methods didn't change, I didn't look a lot better. I just looked slightly more toned, but nothing really. I didn't get to that next level. There's still some fluff there. We weren't shedding. Patting the cushion is crazy.
There's a little fluff there.
There's a stomach there still, for sure. You got something under it, but
right.
it didn't peek through. So that groundwork is real.
You said something. I'm gonna come back to that. You said something earlier. I just don't want to forget.
Yeah.
It's just like with faith. People don't really understand how faith works. They sit there and they say, all right, God, I know God wants me to do this. All right, cool. How does that look though? Like,
Exactly.
Are you taking acting classes? Are you getting with the right people? Are you going to study groups? Are you going to creative sessions? What are you doing to fuel that fire, that talent that was given to you? Like, what are you doing to keep that thing going?
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, I was thinking about, no, that's not how it works. You can't just expect things to just happen for you. You got to really dig deep and you got to work.
Yeah.
That faith comes with work. I don't
Absolutely.
care who you are. If you're not working, I don't care how much that faith you have. Like, it does not matter. So it's the same thing. Whatever you're passionate about, whatever you have a full understanding for, you know what you're in for. You know how much work you have to put in. So
Absolutely. That God will breathe on your steps. He will add grace and favor to your steps. But it says faith without works is dead for a reason.
Yeah.
You can't faith yourself into a lot of things.
You can't just be screaming, I got faith.
I got faith.
I got it.
Okay. And like, are you gonna walk this thing out?
You're gonna actually put in some work?
Maybe a little bit.
Just a little.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think about that, like, because you'll see people, God prophesied over me that I'm gonna have a business and a ministry and this thing and that thing, and God told me this thing and that thing, and then you don't create an atmosphere for that thing to actually be built up and like cultivated. Like you don't water that grass.
Right.
You don't do nothing with it. You're just, God said this can happen, and then you mad at God when it doesn't happen.
Like,
but you didn't keep seeking Him for the rest of it. Like God can give you a vision, or He can give you an idea, but then you seek Him and say, what does this look like? How does this play out? Like, where are we going? What do you want me to do?
Mm-hmm.
We don't keep saying, what do you want me to do? We just say, all right, God, do it.
Right.
For what? What do you learn when God just does it?
When has He ever just done it?
Yeah.
Like, come on. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why like I said, I'm tired, but I'm very, very optimistic.
Yeah.
I really thoroughly believe in all the hard work that I'm putting in is going to pay off. Like,
Yes.
I just don't have another thought in my mind.
And you don't need one, because I also think that that's exactly why it does work.
Right.
Is because there is no other option. It's like when people say, don't have a plan B.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an irresponsible thing to not have a plan B. I think you can have other ideas and, sure, like some sort of no, honestly, I'm not even going to go that route because I don't believe it. Like, personally, I'm not saying it's wrong.
Right.
But I don't really subscribe to it.
I think there's just a way of not having a plan B.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not gonna have a plan B, then you have to be all in.
Yes.
On that get it out now. Plan A.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. You can't just say, "Oh, I don't need a plan B," and then not be working. And like that's like me saying I want to be a director, but then I'm not studying anything. Mm-hmm. I'm not practicing. I'm not directing anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I've seen.
I want to be an actor. Why are you not making films at home with your friends or doing anything?
Right. Every filmmaker that I've studied in the last 3 years have all said the same thing. Pick up a camera, shoot something, and figure out why it didn't work. Then the next time you pick up the camera, shoot it again. Use what you didn't do on the first one on this one. And it's just you keep getting better. Every filmmaker, I love Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
Although he came out the gates swinging with Memento. You know what I mean? Well, he hasn't won before that. I didn't see it, but it's on film. But it took him a year to film his first movie.
Wow, okay.
Every weekend, him and his boys or whatever would film a scene or film this or film that. And it's like you want to do something, you're going to do it if you truly want this.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's just...
We got to talk about that too. You don't want it for real.
Yeah, that's a hard pill for people to swallow.
Yeah, you don't really want it like that. Otherwise, you would put everything into it.
Right.
You'd make sure you got it. Or you just need to keep developing your vision to get there. But
we're natural liars, right? We tell ourselves that, all right, I'm going to do this tomorrow. You're lying. Mm-hmm. You're not going to do it tomorrow.
You're putting it off.
You're putting it off.
That's it.
Because you really don't want it. And it's okay.
Yeah.
That's a part of the knowing part. You know what I mean? Like, you have to know better. So if you keep lying to yourself, you're never going to know better. And you're never going to do better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like everything has a reaction. Like, because you did this, that is going to happen. You know what I mean? So the more you lie, the more you're not going to get better. And it's not even about getting to the Oscars or getting to the Grammys or any of those things. It's just becoming a better version of you. In whatever this lane you want to be in, how are you getting better? And people are lying to themselves about that part. And it's okay. Whenever they figured it out, they figure it out. But I know for me personally, in the creative space, I really, really try to get better every chance I get. Yeah. Like I could talk days on end about film because I know, okay, I'm going to walk away from this better.
For sure.
You know
that's one of the first things I noticed about you is that you not only were like, I'm a writer, director, actor, but like you could talk film and name drop movies, scenes, directors. etc. So I was like, well, yeah, that's his lane. That's what you should be doing. That's what you
Right.
should be able to do. If you actually love it or want to go there, you got to know the greats. You got to know who's doing it now. You got to know what works, what doesn't. You got to have that type of a passion.
Right.
And
You gotta know the rules before you break them.
for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
You just
Absolutely.
got to.
You have to know them.
You know, like for me personally, like I learned because I had a lot of ideas at one point. I'm like, this is crazy. Like it's just piling up ideas. And then I realized what was wrong with these ideas. They were so surface. It was like anybody could think of this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think a lot of it is we just have to challenge ourselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like ask yourself the tough questions or get with people that will.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I remember I sent Wes a script and I was so hype about it.
Yeah.
And Wes did the one thing that I absolutely needed, which is what I do for people. But I needed somebody to do it for me. And he said, why? Why do we need to do this? Why do we
Yeah.
need this story?
Wow.
Why does this idea have to happen? And that's what you genuinely need. If
That's
you're not
good.
gonna do it for yourself, you know, because these ideas, they'll come. You'll be watching a commercial, and next thing you know, you'll be like, oh, I got a commercial idea.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, all right, no, you didn't even ask yourself, dude, but is this really an idea that needs to be done?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So people really, not people, just like, I know me personally, sometimes I have to ask myself, okay, why? You know what I mean? Like, why is this happening? Why does this have to happen?
This is a great concept. This is a great concept. And also it does show how like it's easy to just go along with the trend of what you see, and it can be
Yeah.
easy to keep producing what you've already seen produced, whether it's accidentally or intentionally, but creating from that space of why is powerful.
Right.
Is this just a random, like artistic explosion or just me spitting out something?
Right.
Or is this actually like, no, this means something?
Yeah. And not everything has to be super, like not everything has to be the color purple.
Like super deep.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that at all, but you should be able to explain why something has to happen.
So like you just said, not everything has to be. So I guess there is some people that would argue it just like that. There's people who stand very confidently on that side. Like, I just want to express. I just want to do stuff. So not everything has to be that way. So why is it important to you to have that why?
Right. Because for instance, if you tell me you want to write or you want to do a documentary on trees, right? I'm gonna be like, all right, why? That question should not stop you in your tracks of doing that documentary on trees.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Clearly, these trees mean something to you. Or I had a tree house when I was younger. So I fell in love with trees. You know
Yeah.
what? My bad.
Excuse me.
That would make sense.
That
Maybe
would
we should
make
add
sense.
a couple more elements to tie you into
Yeah.
a little bit more, make it more personal. Let's go to the actual tree you had a tree house in.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So the whys isn't like this is a bad idea. This is just like it's a doorway to let's think it through. Let's dig deeper.
Yeah.
That script that Wes asked me why on, I went back and I added more to it, and I gave it more of a why it mattered. And he was like, "Oh, okay,
Yeah.
now I get it."
That's good. So the why is also. So yeah, I guess I interpreted the first time the why being like, yeah, I guess not everybody needs to create everything, but the why is actually, even if you do create it, just know why you're creating it.
Right? Where
and
is it
deepen
coming
it.
from?
Yeah.
Like, what does this story mean to you? Forget what you think people need, because you shouldn't be creating. You gotta like what you do. This is just my opinion. I feel you should like what you do.
Yeah.
You should be impressed with what you're trying to put out first.
For
right?
sure.
So for me, I always try to find some way that I connect to the stories I write. Like it's got to mean something to me because I want to write from a real place.
That's your fuel.
Right. So I feel like any idea, it just can't be a vague surface level idea because it's like, where's the feeling, the emotion gonna come from if this doesn't mean anything to you?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? If you're not trying to educate or uplift or showcase some type of thing that we need in this world now,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then, all right, we're just gonna do it just cause. All right, cool. And that's cool. Those things get made every day. You see Tubi.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you see the bad movies get a lot of publicity.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with it. But don't be surprised when people are like, "Oh, this wasn't thought out." Or that wasn't thought out. This could have been that. You know what I mean? So ideas are good, but you need to be in a room of people or have at least one person that's going to ask you why.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Another person, Melvin Gregg, he
Yeah.
is absolutely amazing at asking the tough questions because you can have a great idea, but if you're not going to have somebody that actually says, all right, but would this person really do that?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's just a conversation that needs to be had.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if that discourages you, then this ain't what you want to do.
Yeah. That's my biggest pet peeve in film. Like, it's hard for me to let it go. Like, he would not do that. Or it is unnatural for you to go this way, do this thing. Like, that's my biggest thing that would take me out of a story.
Right,
like,
right.
I'm not good at the stories that aren't like, I guess realistic in that way.
Right, right.
I mean, not to hate on the Fast and Furious series, but my goodness, there's a couple of the most recent movies where there's some ridiculous things happening.
See, but when you watch those, you're going into those like where we know this isn't real. Like, you know what I mean? There's no fact checking gonna take place during this film.
We're just gonna have fun with these.
Yeah, we're just gonna have fun. So, but that's
It's
creativity.
Hilarious. Yeah. I give those grace because I know they come from that spot.
Right.
But it's got to have motivation though.
Yeah, for sure.
Different things. Yeah, that's
sure.
good. Just knowing why you're doing stuff. I think that's really important.
Yeah.
So with creating for you, how do you start creating and cultivating a vision for something you're writing?
Man, that's such a crazy process. But usually I find a way where it's something that I've been through. Like a father's acceptance type of thing, right? Or a yearning for it or something like that. And that is literally the thing that starts a story for me.
Yeah.
And then I just find, okay, where would this, what time would this take place? Like I fall in love with a time. I love timepieces. So I'll find a place where I want to base this story in like a time frame. And then I go from there and I start thinking of my characters.
Yeah.
Like what does this kid look like? Or what does this father who's trying to have a kid that needs some acceptance, what does his life look like? And I start building backstory for these characters. And a lot of what I build in the backstory for my characters, you won't even see in the script.
Yeah.
It's just literally things for me to just build this person up. So I just know the language they speak.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Their mannerisms and how they attack situations that will come up in the story. So I start with something that I've literally been through. It starts here for sure. And then I find a time that I want to base this in.
Yeah.
Do a little research and then I just work on characters.
Does that seem therapeutic for you then to go through that? Or do you sometimes feel like in life you escape through scripts too, like to disconnect from life and go and revisit some other story and you make this? Or do you find it like, no, I'm going to intentionally revisit some of these areas in a therapy way, even if you don't obviously approach it that way?
I mean, now that you've said it like that, it makes sense. But it is a freeing thing for me though. Like,
oh, okay, this thing too. I guess it's both in the same area too.
Right.
Like I'm escaping and having therapy, but not in the way of its reality, but through a story.
Right. It's so coming from me personally, I'm not really big on communicating my feelings. So a lot of the stories I write is me getting my opportunity to express these feelings through these characters I make up. You know what I mean? So even though they're made up, they're representing true emotion and true feelings.
All your films are going through my head right now. I can totally see that.
You know what I mean? So yes, it's therapeutic and freeing, but and it is an escape all at the same time.
Yeah.
It's me getting it off my chest finally. And then it is me like being okay with, it's okay to feel that way. You know what I'm saying? So, and then also it's like, I don't want to feel this no more too. So it's me giving my character like his winning moment or his horrible moment. You know what I mean? So it's all three of those things. That's why if you've read my scripts, they're all like roller coasters, and they take you through this whirlwind of love.
Yeah.
Because that's what I like writing about.
Yeah.
Some way, somehow, all my stories will always represent true love,
Yeah.
true love, and true sacrifice.
Why is that so important to you? Because I've always seen you really gravitate towards that. Like, what's that done for your life? Like, how has that touched your life? Just like that true love and that, like, a lot of it's relationships too and stuff you would do. Or
But it's just, when you raised by a woman like my mother, you understand those two things don't exist without each other. You know what I mean? Like true love and sacrifice is what I was raised on. It's just understanding, like, if you love something, you're going to sacrifice everything for it.
yeah,
Like, I love filmmaking. I absolutely love it. So I will sacrifice sleeping at night. I will sacrifice going out with friends if I want to finish writing a script.
yeah,
Or if I have an opportunity to go talk to a director for 2 hours about something, I'm going to stop what I'm doing and go do it.
yeah,
If I have an opportunity to go work for free just so I could follow someone around, I'm going to do it. You know what I mean? And that's what all my scripts are about. Like, if you truly love something, what are you willing to do to get that?
yeah,
And have that. Not just get it, keep it, and live in that. You know what I mean? And I just feel like love is the key, bro. Like, there's not been one thing that love didn't fix. And I'm talking about real love. You know what I mean? Like, if you genuinely love something, it will work.
yeah,
I just don't see it not. You know what I mean? And I'm really passionate about that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Love is big for me. Because if I love you, there's no excuse for me not to do something or try my hardest to be there for you.
yeah,
If I can do something, I will do something.
absolutely, yeah,
If I'm able to, I'm going to do it because I genuinely love you and I want to do the best for you. And if I can't, I'm going to sacrifice something to do it. So, I mean, it's simple math for me.
yeah. It is simple math.
I grew up with my family. If you didn't have it, I got you.
Yeah,
And it's been like that my whole life, bro. So why not write about what's literally in my vein? Like, it's pouring out of me. You
absolutely,
know what I mean?
yeah,
So every chance I get, I try to just pour into people's cup because that's what I was raised on. That's why I was like, I was telling you that night when you poured into my cup, I was like, man, I didn't even know that type of relationship was gonna come from this. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
and so it was so genuine, and it's just like, it's one of those things where it's like, that's what family is like.
yeah,
Sometimes some expressions they don't need an explanation, because when you're raised on the right morals, it's not hard for me to say I love you.
absolutely.
You know what I mean? And this comes with age. I didn't have understanding forever. I'm a little older now, so I get it. You know what I mean? But yeah, I want to stay in a space of love.
Absolutely, always.
Always, no matter what.
I think also it's not necessarily easier to give love all the time, but it is more freeing because you have to use energy to give love and to give hate. But when you give hate, it also does something to you.
Right.
And when you dwell in spaces of hate or just, thinking lower, it's going to bring you lower too. And I feel like love's just going to uplift you. But it's hard sometimes to give it if, you're struggling in some area or somebody hurts you. It's hard to just, I love you, because it can be hard because you take it personal.
Right.
But that is where you find freedom.
But I mean, just to tie it back to what we're here for, like Jesus, like, what did he do?
Yeah.
Even in the midst of being hated and all the evil that was being done to him, he still loved, bro.
Exactly.
So how can someone be made in the image of me? How could I not do the same thing that he was doing? I'm not Jesus. Don't get this. Don't misquote me,
To the
please.
camera.
Do not misquote me. But what I'm saying is, if this is what he went through,
Yeah.
I have not been through what this man has been through.
No.
And he was able to still love through that. So if I can at least do an eighth of that type of love where, okay, I get it. You're mad at me. I'm sorry. I still love you, bro. You know what I mean? Let me try harder to not hurt you again. You know what I mean? Or not do something wrong. Or let me just try to love a little better. Like I love operating in a space where it's like, even in that realm, I'm always trying to be better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you back to truly understanding what you're trying to do. If you're trying to be better, are you going to do the work?
Yeah.
Are you going to put in that effort? You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. It's easy for me to say it. You know what I mean? And I know it's hard for people to, once they get, but for me personally, like, I don't care, man. Long as you ain't, trying to kill me, or, you know what I mean, hurt my mama or do something to my child, there's not really much for me that I'm not gonna hate you. I'm an extrovert, bro. Like, I love to be around people. And I'm telling you, in the last 2 years, I've had to slow down on just being around too many energies, too many different people, because it's just become a cold place where it's just like, you really don't know who to be around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's scary, bro. So it's like, you just want to be around people like this, where I know love is in this space.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. That's why it's good to create with the heart posture that you're creating and doing things like this. Is like, everybody's watching TV anyways, they're watching movies anyways, they're listening to music, and we have a lot of people throwing out just randomness. And if you can have things that will, because I just have that faith, that's my faith and my belief that nothing is too small. Like, I believe you start putting out movies about love, you're inspiring thought in every single viewer. The world may not immediately just, everybody's more loving, but over time, I believe if the culture is being fed that through like film and through music and through media, over time, you're going to inspire thought and get people back to a better way of thinking, I believe.
Oh, yeah, of course, because the people before us, that's what their goal was.
Yeah.
I want to spark a conversation. Everything that I've written and shot, I've left with knowing, okay, I know they're going to be talking about this. Like, how do they relate to this?
This is deep too. Everything being created right now is a reflection of where the world is.
Yeah.
So even all the dark stuff we're seeing all over the internet, or what we're highlighting and glorifying,
that's just the world we live in now. And that's why it's a scary place. That's why you really got to do what you like, and don't think about what the masses like, because it's bad out here, bro.
I agree. I think that's also the importance of sitting with God for your ideas and letting God download you ideas too, because he's always going to give you something to challenge people or to push them closer to love or to push them closer to him. So he's always going to give us something that we need too.
Yep.
Not just something to watch or just to listen to, but it's like, this will actually help somebody.
Right.
You know? And we all have that. It's not even a complicated thing. Like, I need a God idea. I need a God. It's like, no, he's already put that within you.
Right.
Like, you already have that. Like, you know, he's given you an answer, but you can choose to go with what you feel in that answer, because it's not hard to find your purpose and to find out, you know, what you feel called to like that. Like you talk about it very clearly with that. It is hard to choose that when it's not popular and you see what does work and it's everything else around you that's being pushed.
Right.
It's hard to just say, you know what, this is an answer. I'm going to do this.
And that's what happens when you have these ideas that don't mean anything.
Yeah.
That aren't coming from a real place. You know what I mean? Like you said, he's given us this talent.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, is it doing anything? And that's what I take away from, that's why I study so much.
Yeah.
Because I want to make sure I'm putting something back.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Like that's literally your gift from God was your gift. Now your gift to him is to use that talent to put something back out there and say, look, God, you saw what you gave me? Look what I did with it. You know what I mean? Like, think about that. You create something, right? And would you take that to God and be like, look, what you think it is?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, when you really know what you want, now, if you know, okay, I'm going to do what it takes to get as much money as possible, then okay, cool. That's what you know. So you're going to work intentionally in that space, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Because you know what you're doing.
Right.
But just know what comes with that. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Just know what comes with that. That's all I'm going to say with that.
Bro, so much good in this podcast. So much good. I appreciate you sitting down with me,
Not for
talking
sure.
to me.
I love that you gave me this opportunity too, bro. Because I know you know, I'm the wild boy sometimes, but I appreciate you having this conversation with me, bro. For real, for
It was a no brainer. Like one of the first people I thought of for real. Like, yeah, I'm glad that you made time to come through for it.
Of
Yeah.
course, for sure, bro. Appreciate it, bro.
Yeah.
Yes,
Thank you.
sir.